we're going to talk about the most important video of chemistry. Here we know the heavy and the toxicity of the metals. How the more amount of them and the less amount of them, how can it create some harmful effects on plants and the human beings too. So here we study about this is topic as it is given on the display: heavy metals, toxicity, harmful effect on plants and human being, and its management. We will also understand the management of them too. So here we go. There is a first thing that is talk about the toxicity of the metals and metalloids. So metals, you understand, all those metals which releases their electrons in solutions, these are called metals. And those metalloids are known as, like, they show the features or properties of some of the metals and some of the non-metals. So these are called non-metals, or we can metalloids. So here we study about heavy metal toxics. We study about the arsenic, cadmium, battery cells, mercury, we know about it, and this is lead and the aluminum. So generally we know it is one of pollutants. Arsenic, it is used to formulate the or synthesize the poison. And cadmium, it is used in the battery cells. And the mercury, it is used in a lot of the new works, as you see in inside of the thermometer. So there is a mercury. So the mercury is one, it is related to one of a story of China actually. So I will tell you in further videos or somewhere if I found the time. So it's a very interesting story about the Chinese people. Now here we discuss the more thing, and the most important thing, that is heavy metals. So in the heavy metals, what you really need to understand: a metal having an atomic weight greater than sodium. You keep this thing in your mind. Weight must be greater than sodium. A density greater than 5 gram per centimeter. 5 gram per centimeter cube. So the atomic weight must be greater than sodium, and sodium, it is sodium. And they are talking about the atomic weight. So it has the atomic weight 23, and the atomic number, about it, it is 11. So they must be greater than 23. So we can say, like, the greater than 23, all the metals, they have greater than 23. Okay. And the density must be, D must be 5 gram per centimeter cube. So you have to keep this thing in your mind. Okay. The metalloids are elements which features intermediate between metals and non-metals. So these is given metals and non-metals. So they show the features between the metals and non-metals, and the example is arsenic. Heavy metals are usually associated with toxicity, okay, in plants, generally in plant, but some micronutrients produce toxicity symptoms as well. Some micronutrients also produced. So we will talk about what those are, which type of micronutrients those are, and how they really give effects on a plant's, harmful effects on a plant and animals, including human being. So it is happens in human being also, that you can notice in like pollution problems, lungs problems, or eyes problems too. Here what we see, this is chromium, this thing is chromium, this thing is chromium, it is mercury, cadmium, it is arsenic, and this is lead. Everybody knows about them. So we have marked all of them according to their schedule. So we go further, and further we study about the one thing is left, I forgot to tell you. This is molybdenum. This is molybdenum. Okay, its number is 42. Okay, so keep this thing also in mind. It is also important, and some of them are from the manganese. These are very important metals actually. Manganese to zinc. Like this is manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, and zinc. So all of them, keep them in your mind because we study about these all the metals in our next lecture, or even some of them we will study over there. The heavy metals, denoted by Hn. Heavy metals are natural components of the earth crust. So keep this thing in your mind. Component of earth crust. Okay, earth crust. Earth crust mean it is found in the compound form of earth. So here heavy metal cannot be degraded or destroyed. To a small extent they enter our bodies by food, drinking water, or air. As traces elements, some heavy metals, for example copper, selenium, zinc. Keep this thing in your mind. Copper, selenium, zinc are essential to maintain the metabolism of the human body. So it will see or maintain the metabolism of our body. Now the further video in further videos we will release, so this video will be related to the complete structure or a feature or the properties of a metal in human life and in the life of the plants and how they are important and effect on them. Like here it is given. However, at high concentration they can lead to a poisoning. They can lead to a poisoning. Heavy metals poisoning could result from drinking water contaminations, lead pipes, high ambient air concentration near emission sources, or intake by a food chain, like some kind of the food chains. So it is a story of a person, I tell you, not a person of a village. There was a pipe from the factory that was falling in a pond, and that pond was with the fishes. There was a lot of the fish. So what happened, one day the people when saw the lot of the fishes were coming out of the surface of the water. So they go and they catch them, and they started having, they started taking them as a food. And then finally after some time they found the result of like a kidney failure, liver failure. A lot of the problems were started in their bodies. And when taken the tests were taken, then it was clear that that was happened because of mercury concentration in the ponds, and just because of that the fishes were dying. And the people, without knowing what was happening with them, they started having them. And finally, what was the result. So we have to be clear about that, whatever we are having, how it is affected by other things, because it is very important to know before going through these kind of things. Here we understand the relationship between the nutrient supply and growth. Nutrient supply and growth. So it is given a chart. This chart is between the growth and the nutrient supply. So it is called the deficiency. If due to deficiency the disease going to happen or being affected due to deficiency. And if it is in high amount, then it is called the toxicity. And if it is in equal amount, that is called the adequate. So you have to keep this in your mind. If you will take the more amount, then the toxicity can be seen. And if it is in a low amount in your body, or you are not taking it in a proper way, then that is called the deficiency. And if you take it in a normal or a very complete or fixed diet, then it is good for your health. So no need to having a more, just try to take in a complete and a fully complete amount. Here it is given, sorry, just a minute. Okay, let me fix it. Okay, okay. So it's the sources of heavy metal pollutions. Okay, how the things are being polluted by the heavy metals. So here the heavy metals enrichment in soil. Okay, how the amount of the heavy metal is increasing in the soil. Soil like the crust of or upper surface of the land. So it's a wastewater. Due to wastewater, parents materials, their parents material, from them they formed actually fertilizers, and mining and the industrial waste and sewage sludge, and some of them are given over here: the smelting of the arrays, pesticides, and urban soil waste. These are the main reason of them. Okay, the next thing that we're gonna study, that is sources of heavy metals. What are their sources? Generally, arsenic. So I told you before, to kill the rats and some other animals, we use a chemical or a powder, that is a arsenic powder, that is known as an arsenic powder. So it is used also to pesticides, fungicides, or metal smelters. It is used this, we know about the fungicides and pesticides to kill the pest and to kill fungus. Cadmium, that is generated by building, electroplating, pesticides, fertilizer, batteries, nuclear fission plants, etc. That's a chromium. Chromium is used in a mining, electroplating, textiles, tannery industries. Okay, then copper. It's a very important actually. Electroplating, pesticides, and mining. Lead, there's a paint, pesticides, batteries, automobiles. Everybody knows about the lead, use of lead in batteries. Emissions, minings, and burning of coal. The burning of coal is also a huge source of this lead and emission that we can show, like as we use the petrol. So when petrol is used in a bike, so one of no non-knocking substance is eliminated in the air, and that created some respiratory problems. So you have to understand that. Then we talk about the manganese. It is used in building, fuel addition, ferromanganese production, etc. Then here is mercury. Mercury, I told you, it is pesticides, batteries, paper industries, different kind of things it is used. Here it is given about the nickel. Electroplating, everybody knows it is a very useful material in electroplating. Zinc base, castings, batteries industry, and the zinc itself, refineries, bronze manufacture, metal planting, immersion of the paint, iodide, ideal, idol. So it's a very important, So if you are studying these, then I just tell you, please have a screenshot of this thing, because it's gonna help you a lot. So take a screenshot of this. Now we study about the concentration of metal. Those are efficient or completely good or bad for any kind of plant. So as we know, the concentration of metals we study here, concentration of metals. Arsenic found in surface water 0.05 milligram per liter, and in a soil, that's in a plant, nothing. Cadmium amount is this, found that in a plant 0.02. So in a surface water and plant, it is a very similar amount, but in case of like soil, it's around negligible, but not negligible, even it affects. Then the chromium, lead, mercury, nickel, copper, iron, and zinc. So understand this thing, and we know about the iron. It is found completely. It is found in the soil water as compared to water, surface water generally. So you have to keep remember one of nickel, okay, then iron, and then zinc. You have to keep this thing in your mind. Now we talk about the other thing, the effects of the heavy metals in plant. So it's a given, and I just suggest you we will discuss this thing in next video. So be connected and please support us, subscribe our channel, and please, if you want to give us any kind of suggestions, to please write down in comment box. I will go through that, and if you have any kind of problem related that, you can really contact me. Thank you very much.